Imagine this, a quiet, peaceful home filled with laughter and love, a family gathered around the dinner table, sharing stories and dreams. But in one horrifying moment, that peace was shattered forever. A knock at the door, a face they trusted, and then silence. This is the story of a family betrayed by the one person they never saw coming. A story so chilling, so heartbreaking, it will leave you questioning how well you truly know the people in your life. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will haunt you long after this video ends. And if this story moves you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Your support helps us share more stories that need to be told. Johnson's family was the kind of family everyone admired. Mark and Linda Johnson had been high school sweethearts, their love story the stuff of local legend. They built a life together in the small town of Willow Creek, where the streets were lined with old oak trees and the air smelled like fresh-cut grass. Their daughter, Emily, was their pride and joy, a bright, kind-hearted 19-year-old with dreams of becoming a teacher. She had her mother's smile and her father's determination, a perfect blend of their best qualities. Their home was a sanctuary, a place where love was unconditional and the future seemed limitless. But every family has its secrets, and sometimes those secrets come knocking at the door in the form of a charming smile and a promise of forever. Enter Johnson Carter. Handsome, charismatic, and seemingly perfect, Jason swept Emily off her feet. At first, he was the doting boyfriend, bringing flowers, writing love notes, and winning over her parents. He'd sit at the dinner table, laughing with Mark and complimenting Linda's cooking. But beneath that charming facade lurked a darkness no one could see. Jason was possessive, controlling, and quick to anger. Emily's friends warned her, but love has a way of blinding even the sharpest eyes. As the months went by, Johnson's true colors began to show. He isolated Emily from her friends, monitored her every move, and grew increasingly violent. The Johnsons saw the change in their daughter, the sparkle in her eyes fading, replaced by fear. They begged her to leave him, but Emily was trapped in a web of manipulation and terror. She loved him, but she was also afraid of him. And that fear would soon turn into a nightmare no one could have imagined. One night, Emily finally found the courage to break free. She told Johnson it was over. She packed her bags, her hands trembling as she zipped up the suitcase. She was ready to start over, to reclaim her life. But Johnson wasn't the kind of man to let go. He saw Emily as his possession, and he would do anything to keep her, even if it meant destroying everything she loved. On a cold, moonless night, Jason arrived at the Johnson home. He knocked on the door, his face calm, but his eyes burning with rage. Mark answered, his protective instincts kicking in. But Jason wasn't there to talk. He was there to take what he believed was his. What happened next was a nightmare no one could have imagined. Johnson forced his way inside, his gun gleaming in the dim light. Mark and Linda tried to shield Emily, but they were no match for Johnson's fury. One by one, he silenced their voices. First Mark, then Linda. Emily begged for her life, her voice trembling as she pleaded with the man she once loved. But Jason's heart was cold as stone. When the gunshots finally stopped, the house was eerily silent. Johnson was gone, their lives cut short by the man they had once welcomed into their home. Jason fled into the night, leaving behind a trail of blood and broken hearts. The next morning, the sun rose over Willow Creek, but the light couldn't chase away the darkness that had settled over the town. Emily's friends and neighbors were in shock, struggling to comprehend how such a tragedy could happen in their quiet community. The police launched a manhunt, but Jason had vanished without a trace. For Emily, the pain was unbearable. She had lost everything, her parents, her home, her sense of safety. She sat in the hospital, her body bruised, but her spirit shattered. The weight of her grief was crushing, and for a while, it seemed like she might never recover. But amidst the darkness, she found a strength she didn't know she had. She vowed to honor her parents' memory by fighting for justice and speaking out against the cycle of abuse that had destroyed her family. Months turned into years, but the search for Johnson never stopped. Emily became a voice for victims of domestic violence, sharing her story to raise awareness and prevent others from suffering the same fate. Her courage inspired a community to come together, to shine a light on the shadows that had once hidden Johnson's crimes. And then, one day, the call came. Johnson had been found, living under a false name in a small town hundreds of miles away. The trial was long and painful, but Emily faced him in court, her head held high. When the verdict was read, guilty on all counts, it was a moment of closure, but not an end to the pain. Today, Emily lives with the scars of that night, both seen and unseen. The Johnson home stands empty, a haunting reminder of what was lost. But Emily's story is also one of resilience. She has rebuilt her life, one step at a time, and continues to fight for others who have suffered in silence. The shadows of that night will always linger, but Emily has learned to live with them. She knows her parents would be proud of the woman she has become, a survivor, a fighter, and a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. This is the story of Johnson's family, a story of love, loss, and the unbreakable strength of the human spirit. It's a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable darkness, there is always a glimmer of light. And sometimes, that light is enough to guide us home. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to light. And if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out. You are not alone. Help is always within reach.